we'll have to see what comes out for the rest of the week here, but I think we will get an answer one way or the other from Ripple. Anytime this stuff swirls like that, and it isn't legit, they will at least comment on it. But if it is legit, maybe we'll see an announcement, which would also do really well for Ripple stock. I would assume that if they did make that acquisition for either 6 billion or 11 billion, whatever the number actually ends up being, that would be a huge, huge piece of their business and revenue that they would then be generating. Circle does very well. Obviously, they're a public company. Here's the other piece of this that I actually just had the epiphany on right now. This would be a reverse merger. So Ripple would go public by acquiring Circle. Now, that's an interesting outcome because there have been a couple conversations over time where, and Ripple themselves have said this publicly multiple times, that they wouldn't have an IPO or an initial public offering. Even though they've been audited by the SEC and run through the ringer and would likely do very well going public in that manner, they've become kind of a household name. The other thing that you get in an RTO is you get to name the price of your shares when you go public. This would be very interesting. And this would be a really unique way for them to get into the public market without having to dilute their shares or holdings in order to be able to, pass it around to investment banks and do the whole IPO roadshow and everything that goes along with that. So I'm kind of leaning toward this is probably real now that I'm thinking through it here. And again, this is just real time candid with you guys. This provides them a lot of leverage that they otherwise wouldn't have. And with Circle already being public and their share price being down since the open, this would boost their stock also. It's some additional leverage in that negotiation for Ripple on the price for the acquisition. Now, they could take Circle private, would be the other way that they could go with this. So if Ripple does not want to go public, which I don't think they've ever stated that. I think they've just stated that they would not have a traditional IPO. And I've thought for a long time maybe they would do it through a direct listing because Ripple's already kind of a household name, at least in the crypto space. Most people that are into crypto know what Ripple is. They know what they do. They understand the business. And so therefore, kind of like Coinbase or some other people out there that have gone public, Gemini included, they would have, good standing in the market and wouldn't necessarily have to do a traditional IPO, even though Circle did an IPO and so did Gemini. Both, they diluted shares, passed it to investment bankers. Investment bankers got their clients to invest in it in order to be able to pump the stock at the open.